You think your house is expensive? Wait till you see these floating mansions. We're talking yachts that cost more than some countries' GDPs. Yeah, you heard that right. From helicopter landing pads to underwater viewing rooms, these boats are basically cities on water. And we're gonna show you the 15 most insane ones out there. Trust me, your jaw's gonna drop. The Serene, $330 million. Alright, let's talk about the Serene. This yacht ain't your average rich person toy. We're talking about a floating palace that'll make your head spin. First off, this beast has 7 decks. Yeah, you heard that right. 7 whole levels of pure luxury. But that's not even the craziest part. The Serene's got not 1 but 2 helipads. 'Cause why have just one when you can have a spare, right? Now get this, it's got an underwater viewing room. You can literally sit and watch fish swim by like you're in some fancy aquarium. But if that's not cool enough for you, how about a snow room? Yeah, a room full of snow on a boat. These billionaires are on another level. Inside, there's a climbing wall for when you get bored of lounging around. And if that doesn't do it for you, there's a bunch of pools to choose from. It's like a water park, but way fancier. So who owns this floating mansion? Well, it used to belong to some Russian vodka tycoon. But now, it's the property of a Saudi prince. 'Cause of course it is. These guys trade super yachts like we trade baseball cards. The price tag on this bad boy, a cool $330 million. But for these ultra-rich folks, that's like pocket change. They probably spend more on their morning coffee. But here's the kicker. The Serene is just the beginning. We're starting small here, folks. This yacht is like the appetizer before the main course. The next one we're going to talk about makes the Serene look like a rubber ducky in a bathtub. We're talking about a yacht that's so big, so luxurious, it'll make your eyes water. The Serene, it's child's play compared to what's coming up next. We're about to enter a whole new level of crazy rich people stuff, so buckle up, because we're just getting started. The yacht world is wild, and we're diving deep into the craziest, most expensive floating palaces you've ever seen. Trust me, you ain't seen nothing yet. Dubai, $400 million. Alright, remember when we said the Serene was just the appetizer? Well, get ready for the main course. We're talking about a yacht so massive, it's basically a floating city. And trust me, the price tag matches the size. Meet the Dubai, a yacht that's on a whole other level. This beast is 531 feet long. That's like 1.5 football fields end to end. Just imagine that for a second. You could probably fit the Serene inside this thing and still have room for a party. Now, let's talk about what's inside this floating palace. It's got a mosaic swimming pool that's so fancy, it'll make your local country club look like a kiddie pool. There's a circular staircase that's probably fancier than anything you've ever seen in a mansion. And of course, it's got a helipad. 'Cause how else are you gonna get to your yacht when you're stuck in traffic, right? But here's the craziest part. There's a submarine on board. Yeah, you heard that right. A freaking submarine. 'Cause apparently looking at the ocean from above just ain't enough for these billionaires. They gotta go under it too. I mean, why not, right? When you've got this much money, a submarine is probably like buying a new pair of socks for us regular folks. So, who owns this floating city? Well, it belongs to the ruler of Dubai. I guess when you're naming a yacht after your city, you gotta go big or go home. And let me tell you, they definitely went big with this one. Now, let's talk price. This bad boy cost a cool $400 million. That's enough to buy a small island, but I guess these guys prefer their islands to float. But here's the thing. $400 million is just the starting price in this crazy world of super yachts. We're just getting started here, folks. The Dubai might seem insane, but wait till you see what's coming up next. We're talking about yachts that make this one look like a rubber ducky in a bathtub. Seriously, the next one on our list is gonna blow your mind. It's bigger, it's fancier, and it costs so much it'll make your head spin. So stick around, cause we're about to dive even deeper into the world of billionaire boats. Trust me, you ain't seen nothing yet. These next yachts are so crazy, so over the top, you're gonna think we're making this stuff up. But we ain't. This is real life for the ultra-rich, and we're just getting started. Dilbar, $600 million. You thought the Dubai was big? Hold on to your life jackets because we're about to set sail on a yacht so massive, it makes aircraft carriers look like tugboats. Ever wonder what it's like to live in a floating mansion that needs its own zip code? Well, you're about to find out. Meet Dilbar, the yacht that's so big it's got its own gravitational pull. Okay, maybe not, but it is the largest yacht in the world by volume. We're talking 3,800 square meters of living space. That's like having a whole neighborhood on water. This thing's got amenities that'll make your head spin. 2 helipads, cause one just ain't enough when you're this rich. A 25-meter swimming pool that's probably bigger than your entire house. And get this, it's even got its own garden. Yeah, a garden, on a boat. These billionaires are living in a whole different world. But here's the kicker. This floating city needs a crew of 96 people just to keep it running. That's more staff than some hotels have. Imagine having 96 people at your beck and call, just to make sure your yacht doesn't sink or run out of champagne. So who's the lucky owner of this monster? Some Russian billionaire named Alisher Usmanov. Dude's got so much money, he probably uses $100 bills as toilet paper. But hey, when you can drop $600 million on a boat, I guess you can do whatever you want. Speaking of that price tag, $600 million is enough to buy a small country. But for Usmanov, it's just another Tuesday. This guy's got more money than some nations' GDPs. But here's the crazy part. Dilbar ain't even the most expensive yacht out there. Yeah, you heard that right. There's more insane, more expensive boats coming up. We're talking yachts with missile defense systems, underwater observatories, and stuff that'll make Dilbar look like a rowboat. So stick around, cause we're about to dive into even crazier waters. The next yacht on our list is gonna make your jaw drop so hard, you'll need a crane to pick it up. We're talking about a boat that's not just a boat, it's a whole different level of luxury. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Rev Ocean, $650 million. Ever wondered what happens when a billionaire decides to play scientist? Well, buckle up, cause we're about to tour a yacht that's got more gadgets than James Bond and enough luxury to make a king jealous. This ain't your grandpa's fishing boat. Meet Rev Ocean, a yacht that's breaking all the rules. This thing's actually a research vessel, but don't get it twisted. It's still packed with more luxury than most 5-star hotels. We're talking about a 3-person submarine that can dive deep into the ocean. Yeah, you heard that right. A submarine on a yacht. Cause why look at fish through a glass bottom when you can swim with them, right? But that's not all. This floating lab's got everything a mad scientist could dream of. There's actual research labs on board, an auditorium for presentations, and even an underwater vehicle for exploring the deep sea. It's like someone took a university, shrunk it down, and stuck it on a boat. But don't think it's all work and no play. Rev Ocean's got plenty of fancy features to keep the rich folks happy. There's a wine cellar stocked with the finest vintages, you know, in case you need a drink after a hard day of sciencing. And if you're feeling guilty about all that wine, there's a state-of-the-art gym to work it off. So who's the brains behind this floating research lab? Some Norwegian billionaire who's really into saving the oceans. Guess when you've got more money than you know what to do with, you decide to save the planet. Not a bad way to spend your cash if you ask me. Now let's talk price. This bad boy cost a cool $650 million. That's right, science ain't cheap, folks. But when you're trying to save the oceans and look good doing it, I guess you gotta spend the big bucks. But here's the thing, as crazy expensive as Rev Ocean is, we're just getting started. This $650 million floating lab is like small change compared to what's coming up next. We're about to see some real money, folks. The kind of cash that makes $650 million look like pocket change. So stick around, cause the next yacht on our list is gonna make your head spin. We're talking about boats so expensive, so luxurious, they make Rev Ocean look like a rubber ducky in a kiddie pool. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming up next. Azam, $650 million. Remember when we said $650 million was just the beginning? Well, buckle up, cause we're about to see a yacht that costs the same but couldn't be more different. This next one ain't about saving the planet, it's all about pure luxury and breaking world records. Meet Azam, the longest yacht in the world. This thing's so big it makes other super yachts look like toy boats. We're talking 180 meters long. That's almost 600 feet of pure luxury floating on water. To put that in perspective, it's longer than some cruise ships. Yeah, you heard that right. But Azam ain't just big, it's fast too. This monster can hit 30 knots. That's like 35 miles per hour. Now that might not sound fast, but for a boat this size, it's insane. Most yachts this big move like snails. Azam, it's more like a cheetah on water. Inside, it's all fancy French design. We're talking crystal chandeliers, marble floors, and gold everything. It's like Versailles decided to go for a swim. The interior designer, Christophe Leone, the same guy who does palaces for royalty. So yeah, it's pretty classy. But here's the kicker. This floating palace was built in just 3 years. Most yachts this size take way longer. It's like they put it together with super glue and duct tape. But don't worry, it ain't falling apart anytime soon. So who owns this record-breaking beast? The president of the UAE. No surprise there. When you're running a country made of oil money, you gotta have the biggest toy in the sandbox. Or in this case, the ocean. Now let's talk price. Azam costs $650 million. That's the same as Rev Ocean. But these boats couldn't be more different. One's trying to save the planet, the other's just trying to be the biggest and baddest on the water. But here's the crazy part. We ain't even halfway through our list yet. Yeah, you heard that right. There's still boats out there that make Azam look like a dinghy. We're talking about yachts so expensive, so over the top, they'll make your head spin. So stick around, because we're about to dive into even crazier waters. The next yacht on our list is gonna make your jaw drop so hard you'll need a crane to pick it up. We're talking about boats that cost more than some countries' GDPs. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Streets of Monaco, $1 billion. You thought Azam was impressive. Wait till you hear about the yacht that's basically a floating country. This thing's so over the top it makes other billionaire toys look like dollar store trinkets. We're talking about a boat that's gonna have its own freaking racetrack. Say hello to Streets of Monaco, a yacht that's still in the works but already breaking all the rules. This ain't just a boat, it's a whole city on water. And not just any city, it's a mini Monaco. Yeah, you heard that right. These crazy rich folks decided they wanted to take Monaco with them wherever they go. So they're building replicas of all the famous Monaco landmarks right on this yacht. We're talking about a mini Hotel de Paris, a little Monte Carlo casino, and even a tiny version of the Monaco Grand Prix racetrack. Cause why watch F1 on TV when you can race your own mini cars on your billion-dollar boat, right? But that's not all. This floating Monaco's gonna have submarines and helicopters too, because apparently regular boats and cars just ain't enough for these billionaires. They gotta go under the sea and up in the air too. It's like they're trying to conquer every element or something. Now you're probably wondering who's crazy enough to build this thing. Well, here's the kicker. Nobody knows yet. This billion-dollar boat is still up for grabs. Yeah, you heard that right. Some company's out there building the most insane yacht ever, and they don't even know who's gonna buy it. That's some next-level rich people stuff right there. So how much does this floating slice of Monaco cost? A cool $1 billion. That's billion with a B. You could buy a small country for that kind of money, but I guess these folks would rather have their country float. But here's the craziest part. We ain't even at the top of our list yet. Yeah, you heard that right. There's still yachts out there that make Streets of Monaco look like a rubber ducky. We're talking about boats so expensive, so over the top, they'll make your head spin. So stick around, because we're about to see some real money. The next yacht on our list is gonna make Streets of Monaco look like a bargain. We're talking about boats that cost more than some countries' entire economies. This is where things get really wild. Eclipse, $1.50 billion. All right, now we're in billionaire territory. Eclipse is a beast. It's 533 feet long. That's like 5 Boeing 747s parked end to end. This thing's so big it's got its own zip code. Eclipse ain't your average luxury yacht. It's got 2 helipads, cause one just ain't enough when you're this rich. There's 24 guest cabins, each one fancier than a 5-star hotel room. And get this, it's even got a disco hall. Yeah, you heard that right, a whole disco hall on a boat. These billionaires know how to party. But here's the crazy part. Eclipse ain't just about luxury. This thing's got a missile defense system. Yeah, you read that right. It can shoot down actual missiles. It's like something out of a James Bond movie. Who needs this kind of protection on vacation? Apparently, Russian billionaires do. Speaking of Russian billionaires, the owner of this floating fortress is Roman Abramovich. You might know him as the guy who used to own Chelsea Football Club. Well, turns out he's got expensive taste in boats too. This bad boy cost Abramovich $1.5 billion. That's more than the GDP of some small countries, but for a guy like him, that's probably just pocket change. He probably spends more on caviar every year. Eclipse ain't just sitting around in some fancy marina either. This yacht's been places. It's cruised all over the world, from the Mediterranean to the Caribbean. It's even hosted some big-name celebs. Imagine partying with Hollywood stars while cruising around on a billion-dollar boat. That's just another Tuesday for Abramovich. But here's the thing. As insane as Eclipse is, we ain't done yet. There's still more crazy expensive yachts to come. The next one on our list makes Eclipse look like a rowboat. We're talking about a yacht that's even more luxurious, even more over the top. So stick around, cause things are about to get even wilder. We're diving deeper into the world of billionaire boats, and trust me, you ain't seen nothing yet. These next yachts are gonna make your head spin, the kind of boats that make you wonder if these billionaires are living in the same world as the rest of us. Solaris, $1.60 billion. You thought Eclipse was insane? Well, buckle up, cause we're about to meet its bigger, badder sister. Ever wonder what happens when a billionaire decides one mega yacht just ain't enough? Solaris is the answer, and it's gonna blow your mind. This floating palace is the new kid on the block. Launched in 2021, Solaris is like the shiny new toy in the billionaire playground. It's got 8 decks, stacked like a wedding cake made of money. And of course, there's a helipad on top, cause walking up the gangplank is so last century. Inside, Solaris has 48 cabins. That's enough to house a small village. But this ain't no village. It's a luxury getaway for 36 guests. Imagine throwing a party where everyone gets their own suite. That's just another Tuesday for the owner of this beast. But here's the kicker. Solaris comes with its own flotilla of 20 high-speed jet skis. Yeah, you heard that right. 20. It's like having your own water-based motorcycle gang. These ain't your average rental jet skis either. We're talking top-of-the-line speed machines that probably cost more than most people's cars. So who's the lucky owner of this floating city? None other than Roman Abramovich, the same dude who owns Eclipse. Guess $1 billion yacht just wasn't enough for him. This guy's got more boats than most people have pairs of shoes. The price tag on this bad boy? A cool $1.6 billion. That's 100 million more than Eclipse. Abramovich has got expensive taste, and he ain't afraid to show it. With Solaris, he's basically saying, yeah, I've got the biggest yacht in the world, so I built another one. But here's where things get wild. Solaris might never even get to set sail. See, Abramovich has got some problems with sanctions. There's talk that this $1.6 billion toy might get seized before it ever leaves the dock. Imagine dropping that kind of cash on a boat and never getting to use it. That's got a sting, even for a billionaire. It's crazy to think about, right? Most of us are worrying about paying rent or fixing our cars, and this guy's got a $1.6 billion yacht that might just sit there collecting barnacles. But that's the world of the ultra-rich for you. They're playing a whole different game. But hold on to your hats, cause we ain't done yet. As insane as Solaris is, there's still crazier, more expensive yachts out there. We're talking boats that make Solaris look like a rubber ducky in a bathtub. The next one on our list is gonna make your jaw drop so hard you'll need a crane to pick it up. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. History Supreme, $4.80 billion. All right, remember when we said there were crazier yachts out there? Well, hold on to your wallets, cause we're about to enter a whole new level of insane. What if I told you there's a yacht out there with more gold than Fort Knox? And that's just the beginning. Meet History Supreme, the yacht that's so expensive it makes Solaris look like a kiddie pool floaty. This thing ain't just a boat, it's like a floating museum of crazy expensive stuff. The guys who built it used 100,000 kilograms of gold and platinum. That's not a typo. We're talking about literal tons of precious metals just slapped onto a boat. But wait, it gets even wilder. The walls of this thing, they're made from meteor stone and T-Rex bones. Yeah, you heard that right. Some dude decided to take a bunch of space rocks and dinosaur fossils and turn them into wallpaper. It's like Night at the Museum, but on water. And if you thought that was crazy, check this out. There's a liquor bottle on board with an 18.5 carat diamond stuck to it. Cause apparently, regular bottles just ain't fancy enough when you're this rich. This thing probably costs more than most people's houses. Now let's talk about the master bedroom. Most folks are happy with a comfy mattress and some nice sheets. But on History Supreme, the whole bedroom is made of platinum. It's like King Midas went nuts and turned everything he touched into precious metal. So who's the lucky owner of this floating treasure chest? Some Malaysian businessman who's got more money than sense. This dude's so loaded he probably uses $100 bills as toilet paper. The price tag on this bad boy? $4.8 billion. Yeah, you read that right. That's billion with a B. You could buy a small country for that kind of cash, but this guy decided to spend it on a boat instead. It's the kind of money that makes you wonder if these billionaires are even living in the same world as the rest of us. But here's the craziest part. History Supreme ain't even the most expensive yacht out there. Yeah, you heard that right. There's still more insane, more expensive boats coming up. We're talking yachts that make this one look like a bargain. So stick around, cause we're about to dive into even crazier waters. The next yacht on our list is gonna make your jaw drop so hard you'll need a crane to pick it up. We're talking about boats that cost more than some countries' entire economies. This is where things get really wild. Ritz-Carlton Yacht Collection, $5 billion. Ever wondered what happens when a luxury hotel chain decides to hit the high seas? Well, Ritz-Carlton's about to make that a reality, and they're not stopping at just one yacht. They're going all in with a whole fleet of floating palaces. Ritz-Carlton ain't messing around. They're building 3 custom luxury yachts that'll make your jaw drop. These ain't your average boats. We're talking about floating hotels that'll make you forget land even exists. Each of these bad boys is gonna have 149 suites. And get this, every single one of them comes with its own private terrace. That's right, you can sip champagne and watch the sunset from your own little piece of paradise on the ocean. But that's nothing compared to what else these yachts are packing. They're gonna have spas that'll make you feel like you're floating on a cloud. There's gonna be gyms where you can work off all that fancy food. And speaking of food, these boats are gonna have multiple restaurants. It's like they took a whole Ritz-Carlton hotel and just plopped it on the water. The crazy part? This whole project's gonna cost $5 billion. Yeah, you heard that right. 5 billion with a B. That's more than some countries' entire economies. But for Ritz-Carlton, it's just another day at the office. Now you might be thinking, why would anyone spend that much on boats? Well, Ritz-Carlton ain't stupid. They know there's a whole bunch of rich folks out there who are tired of regular cruises. These people want luxury on the high seas, and Ritz-Carlton's gonna give it to them. Imagine waking up in your fancy suite, stepping out onto your private terrace and seeing nothing but ocean all around you. Then you head down to a 5-star restaurant for breakfast, hit the spa for a massage, and maybe do some shopping at the onboard boutiques. It's like a vacation on steroids. But here's the thing. As insane as this $5 billion yacht collection is, we ain't even at the top of our list yet. Yeah, you heard that right. There's still more expensive boats out there. We're talking about yachts that make this whole fleet look like rubber duckies in a bathtub. So stick around, because we're about to see some real money. The next yacht on our list is going to make your head spin. It's bigger, it's fancier, and it costs so much it'll make you wonder if these billionaires are living in the same world as the rest of us. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming up next. Triple Deuce, $5.50 billion. You thought that Ritz-Carlton fleet was wild? Well, get ready, because we're about to meet a yacht that makes those look like toy boats in a kiddie pool. Ever heard of a yacht with its own private beach? Yeah, that's a thing now. Meet Triple Deuce, the yacht that's so big it's got its own zip code. Okay, not really, but at 222 meters long it might as well. That's over 700 feet of pure luxury floating on the water. This thing's so massive you could probably see it from space. Now, Triple Deuce ain't finished yet, but when it is, it's gonna be insane. We're talking about a yacht with all the usual fancy stuff, helipad, swimming pools, cinema, but that's nothing compared to what else this thing's got planned. Get this, Triple Deuce is gonna have its own private beach club. Yeah, you heard that right, a beach, on a boat. These billionaires are so rich they're bringing the land with them when they go sailing. It's like they decided regular beaches were too crowded, so they built their own. But here's the crazy part. Nobody knows who's gonna own this floating city. It's all top secret, hush hush. Maybe it's some mysterious billionaire. Maybe it's a group of rich folks who pooled their money. Or maybe it's a supervillain building their evil lair. Who knows? What we do know is the price tag, and it's gonna make your eyes water. Triple Deuce is gonna cost $5.5 billion. That's billion with a B. That's more than the entire economy of some small countries. You could probably buy a whole island for that kind of cash, but I guess these folks prefer their islands to float. But here's the kicker. Triple Deuce ain't even the most expensive yacht out there. Yeah, you heard that right. We've still got 4 more boats to go, and they're even more insane than this one. We're talking about yachts that make Triple Deuce look like a rubber ducky in a bathtub. So stick around, because we're about to see some real money. The next yacht on our list is going to make your jaw drop so hard you'll need a crane to pick it up. We're talking about boats that cost so much, it'll make you wonder if these billionaires are living in the same world as the rest of us. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming up next. These last 4 yachts are so over the top, so ridiculously expensive, you're going to think we're making this stuff up. But we ain't. This is real life for the ultra-rich, and we're just getting started. So grab your life jackets, because we're diving into even deeper, crazier waters. Sapphire Yacht, $6 billion. Alright, remember when we said the Ritz-Carlton fleet was insane? Well, the Sapphire Yacht is about to make that look like a rubber ducky in a bathtub. This thing's so luxurious, It's like they took a billionaire's wildest dreams and slapped them on a boat. First off, this yacht's got a 3D cinema. Yeah, you heard that right. These folks don't just watch movies, they experience them. It's like IMAX, but floating on water. And when they're done with the movies, they can hit up the onboard nightclub. 'Cause nothing says I'm rich like partying in the middle of the ocean. But that's nothing compared to what else this floating palace has got. There's a casino on board. These billionaires can lose millions without even stepping on land. And if they're feeling guilty about all that gambling, they can hit up the gym. It's probably fancier than any gym you've ever seen. Now get this, the Sapphire Yacht's even got a mini golf course, 'cause regular golf courses are too big, I guess. These folks can practice their putting while cruising around the Mediterranean. It's like they took a country club and made it seaworthy. But here's the craziest part. This thing's got an underwater observation room. Yeah, you read that right. You can sit and watch fish swim by like you're in some fancy aquarium. It's like they decided regular windows weren't good enough, so they built a submarine into their yacht. So who owns this floating wonderland? Nobody knows. It's some anonymous billionaire. Real mysterious. Maybe it's Batman, or maybe it's just some guy who's got more money than he knows what to do with. Now, let's talk price. This bad boy costs $6 billion. That ain't a typo. $6 billion. That's like 60 normal super yachts all smooshed together. You could probably buy a small country for that kind of cash. But I guess these folks prefer their luxury floating. But here's the wildest part. The Sapphire Yacht ain't even the most expensive boat out there. Yeah, you heard that right. We've still got 3 more yachts to go, and they're even crazier than this one. We're talking about boats that make the Sapphire Yacht look like a canoe. So stick around, 'cause things are about to get even wilder. The next 3 yachts are gonna blow your mind. We're talking about boats so expensive, so over the top, you're gonna think we're making this stuff up. But we ain't. This is real life for the ultra-rich, and we're just getting started. Keep watching, 'cause you ain't seen nothing yet. Holistic luxury yacht, $7 billion. Remember when we said things were gonna get wilder? Well, imagine a yacht that's part spa, part laboratory, and 100% green. Yeah, you heard that right. We're talking about a boat that might just save the world, if it doesn't bankrupt its owner first. Meet the Holistic Luxury Yacht, the boat that's all about wellness and saving the planet. This thing's got a meditation room that's probably bigger than your whole apartment. And a yoga studio, you bet. These billionaires can do their downward dog while cruising the Mediterranean. But that's nothing compared to the organic garden on board. Yeah, you read that right. A garden on a boat. These folks are growing their own kale while sailing the 7 seas. It's like they took a Whole Foods and made it seaworthy. Now let's talk about the spa. This ain't your average massage parlor. We're talking about a place that'll make you forget you're even on a boat. And the gym, it's probably fancier than any fitness center you've ever seen. These billionaires can work on their abs while watching whales swim by. But here's the craziest part. This yacht's got its own laboratory. Yeah, a full-on science lab. Maybe they're trying to cure seasickness, or maybe they're just playing mad scientist. Who knows? Now get this. The whole thing runs on clean energy. No fossil fuels here. This boat's so green it probably doesn't even leave a wake. It's like they took a Tesla and made it float. So who owns this eco-friendly floating palace? Some tech billionaire who's really into saving the planet. Guess when you've got more money than you know what to do with, you decide to build a yacht that's part luxury cruise, part research vessel. The price tag on this bad boy? A cool $7 billion. Yeah, being green ain't cheap. That's enough money to buy a small country, but I guess these folks prefer their countries to float. But here's the wildest part. We ain't even at the top of our list yet. Yeah, you heard that right. There's still 2 more yachts to go, and they're even crazier than this one. We're talking about boats that make the Holistic Luxury Yacht look like a rowboat with some solar panels slapped on. So stick around, 'cause things are about to get even wilder. The top 2 yachts are gonna blow your mind. We're talking about boats so expensive, so over the top, you're gonna think we're making this stuff up. But we ain't. This is real life for the ultra-rich, and we're just getting started. Futuristic super yacht, $8 billion. You thought the Holistic Luxury Yacht was crazy? Well, this next one's from the future. We're talking about a yacht that looks like it came straight out of Star Trek. The futuristic super yacht ain't just a boat, it's a floating sci-fi movie. This thing's got AI and robotics all over. It's like they took Siri and gave her a whole yacht to control. You want a drink? Just ask the robot butler. Need to know the weather? The AI's got you covered. It's like living in the year 3000 but on water. But that's nothing compared to its drone fleet. Yeah, you heard that right. This yacht's got its own army of flying robots. Maybe they use them for security, or maybe the owner just likes to play with really expensive toys. Either way, it's insane. Now let's talk about entertainment. This yacht's got a virtual reality room. It's like they took an IMAX theater and made it even cooler. You can probably visit any place in the world without even leaving the boat. And if that ain't enough, there's a holographic theater too. It's like watching a movie, but the characters are right there in the room with you. But here's the craziest part. This yacht can change its shape. Yeah, you read that right. It's like a giant transformer, but on water. Maybe it turns into a submarine, or maybe it can split into smaller boats. Who knows? All we know is it's wild. So who owns this floating piece of the future? Some tech mogul who's really into sci-fi. Guess when you've got billions to burn, you decide to make your Star Trek dreams come true. Now let's talk price. This bad boy costs $8 billion. That's billion with a B. That's more money than some countries' entire economies. But when you're building a yacht from the future, I guess the sky's the limit. But here's the wildest part. We ain't even at the top of our list yet. Yeah, you heard that right. There's still one more yacht to go, and it's even crazier than this one. We're talking about a boat that makes the futuristic super yacht look like a rowboat with some fancy lights. So stick around, because we're about to see the biggest, most expensive yacht ever built. It's so over the top, so ridiculously luxurious, you're gonna think we're making it up. But we ain't. This is real life for the ultra-rich, and we're about to see the craziest boat of them all. The ultimate luxury yacht, $9 billion. Remember when we said the futuristic super yacht was wild? Well, this next one's gonna make your head spin. We're talking about the ultimate luxury yacht, and it's the most expensive boat ever made. This thing's got a price tag of $9 billion. Yeah, you heard that right. $9 billion. That's more than some countries' entire economies. So what do you get for $9 billion? Everything. And I mean everything. This yacht's got its own private IMAX theater. Not just a regular movie room, but a full-on IMAX. These billionaires can watch the latest blockbusters on the biggest screen while cruising the ocean. But that's nothing compared to the concert hall. Yeah, a whole concert hall on a boat. These folks can have their own private Taylor Swift show in the middle of the sea. And if they get bored of movies and music, there's an art gallery too. It's like they took the Louvre and made it float. Now here's where it gets really crazy. This yacht's got its own hospital. Not just a little first aid station, but a full-on hospital. Guess when you're this rich, you don't want to risk getting seasick without a team of doctors nearby. But wait, there's more. This thing's got a rainforest, an actual rainforest on a boat. It's like they couldn't decide between a cruise and a trip to the Amazon, so they just combined them. And if that ain't enough nature for you, there's even a zoo. Yeah, a zoo on a boat. These billionaires can wake up and see giraffes without even stepping on land. The craziest part? This yacht's got a mini city inside. We're talking streets, buildings, the whole 9 yards. It's like they took a small town and just plopped it on the water. These folks never have to go back to land if they don't want to. So who owns this floating slice of insanity? It ain't just one person. A whole group of billionaires pooled their money for this thing. Guess when you're that rich, you gotta team up to build something this crazy. And that's it. The most insane, expensive yachts in the world. From $330 million to $9 billion, these things are nuts. Makes you wonder what they'll come up with next. A yacht that can fly to space? A boat that turns into a submarine? With these billionaires, anything's possible.